1. More guns than people in the United States. Imagine a country where the number of firearms is actually higher than the number of people. That country is the United States. Today, experts estimate that there are over 400 million civilian-owned guns in the US, while the population is about 330 million people. This means that, statistically, there are more guns than residents. In simple terms, if every gun were evenly distributed, every person could have at least one, and millions of guns would still remain. The roots of this situation go back to the early history of the United States. When the country was formed, firearms were essential tools for survival. People used them for hunting food, protecting their homes, and defending communities on the frontier. Over time, gun ownership became deeply connected with American culture and identity. Another important reason is the Second Amendment of the US Constitution, which protects the right of citizens to keep and bear arms. Because of this constitutional protection, gun ownership has remained common across the country. Today, Americans own firearms for many reasons. Some people keep guns for personal protection, others for hunting or sport shooting. Many collectors also own multiple firearms, which contributes to the very high total number. However, the large number of guns also makes firearm policy a major topic of national discussion. Debates about safety, regulation, and personal rights frequently appear in American politics and society. The fact that the United States has more guns than people is one of the most surprising statistics about the country, and it reflects a long history, a strong culture of gun ownership, and an ongoing national debate. 2. The largest prison population in the world. Imagine a country where millions of people are behind bars at the same time. In the United States, more than 2 million people are currently in prisons and jails, making it one of the countries with the largest prison populations in the world. To understand how big this number is, picture a city the size of Houston or Paris. Now imagine that the entire population of that city is in prison. That is roughly how many people are incarcerated in the US at any given moment. The story behind this number began decades ago. During the 1970s and 1980s, the United States introduced tougher criminal laws and stricter sentencing policies. Programs such as the War on Drugs and mandatory minimum sentences led to many more arrests and longer prison terms. Over time, this caused the prison population to grow rapidly. By the early 2000s, the number of incarcerated people had reached historic highs. Today, the United States still holds a very large share of the world's prisoners, even though it has only about 4% of the global population. People end up in US prisons for many reasons, including drug offenses, theft, violent crimes, and other legal violations. The prison system includes federal prisons, state prisons, and local jails. Because of its size, the American prison system is often discussed in debates about justice, public safety, and criminal law. Some people argue that strict laws help reduce crime, while others believe the system should focus more on rehabilitation. The fact that the United States has over 2 million people in prison is one of the most striking statistics about the country's justice system and continues to shape discussions about law and society. 3. No official national language in the United States. Imagine arriving in one of the most influential countries in the world and discovering something surprising. The United States does not have an official national language at the federal level. Even though English is spoken almost everywhere, it has never been legally declared the country's official language. When the United States was founded in the late 18th century, the country was already home to people from many cultural backgrounds. Immigrants from Europe brought languages such as German, Dutch, French, and Spanish. Because of this diversity, the founders chose not to establish a single official language in the Constitution. They believed the country should remain open to many cultures and communities. Today, English is still the dominant language. It is used in government, education, business, and media, and most Americans speak it in their daily lives. However, millions of people across the country speak other languages at home. Spanish is the second most widely spoken language, followed by Chinese, Tagalog, Vietnamese, Arabic, and many others. This linguistic diversity is one of the defining features of American society. In large cities, it is common to hear several languages spoken in the same neighborhood, school, or workplace. Interestingly, while the federal government has no official language, many individual states have declared English as their official language. These laws apply only within those states and do not change the national situation. Government agencies often provide important information in multiple languages so that immigrants and non-English speakers can access services such as healthcare, education, and voting instructions. The fact that the United States has no official national language reflects its long history as a nation built by immigrants. English dominates everyday life, but the country's legal system still leaves room for many languages and cultures to coexist. This unique feature often surprises people around the world and highlights how diversity has shaped the American identity. 4. One of the most expensive healthcare systems in the world. Imagine getting a hospital bill that costs as much as a new car or even a small house. In the United States, healthcare is known for being one of the most expensive in the world. The US spends more money on healthcare than any other country. Each year, the nation spends trillions of dollars on medical care, hospitals, medicines, and health services. On average, Americans spend far more per person on healthcare than people in most other developed countries. One reason for these high costs is the complex healthcare system. In the United States, many people rely on private health insurance, often provided through their employer. Others use government programs such as Medicare or Medicaid. However, medical services themselves, such as hospital stays, surgeries, or prescription drugs, are often very expensive. For example, a short hospital visit or emergency treatment can sometimes cost thousands of dollars, and major surgeries or long hospital stays can reach tens of thousands of dollars or more. Without insurance, these bills can be extremely difficult to pay. Even with insurance, patients may still need to cover part of the costs themselves through deductibles, co-payments, or uncovered treatments. Because of this, medical bills are sometimes listed as one of the most common financial challenges for American families. Despite the high costs, the United States also has some of the world's most advanced medical technology, hospitals, and research institutions. Many important medical discoveries, treatments, and innovations come from American universities and laboratories. This creates a unique contrast. The country offers cutting-edge medical care, but accessing that care can be very expensive. The cost of healthcare remains one of the most discussed topics in American politics and society. The fact that the United States has some of the highest healthcare costs on earth continues to spark debate about how the system should work in the future. 5. The death penalty still exists in some US states. Imagine living in a country where the laws can change depending on which state you are in. In the United States, this is especially true when it comes to the death penalty. While many countries around the world have completely abolished capital punishment, it is still legal in several American states. The United States has a federal system of government, which means individual states can create many of their own laws. Because of this, the death penalty is not applied the same way everywhere in the country. Some states have completely banned it, while others still allow it for certain very serious crimes. Typically, the death penalty can only be used for the most severe offenses, such as certain types of murder or crimes that result in multiple deaths. Cases that may lead to capital punishment usually go through long and complex court processes, often lasting many years. In states where the death penalty is still legal, executions are most commonly carried out by lethal injection, although other methods have been used in the past. Before an execution can happen, the case usually goes through several appeals to ensure the legal process was followed correctly. Over the past few decades, the number of executions in the United States has generally decreased. At the same time, several states have decided to abolish the death penalty entirely, reflecting changing public opinions and legal debates. Today, the country is divided on this issue. Some people believe the death penalty is necessary for the most serious crimes, while others argue it should be abolished due to moral concerns and the possibility of wrongful convictions. The fact that the death penalty still exists in parts of the United States shows how laws and social views can vary widely within the same country, and why this topic continues to be one of the most debated issues in the American justice system. 6. Huge gap between the rich and the poor in the United States. Imagine a country where some people own private jets, luxury mansions, and billion-dollar companies, while others struggle to pay rent or buy groceries. This contrast exists in the United States, where the gap between rich and poor is one of the most noticeable economic realities. The US is home to many of the richest individuals in the world. Famous entrepreneurs, technology leaders, and investors have built companies worth billions of dollars. Cities like New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles are known for their extreme wealth, luxury homes, and powerful business empires. At the same time, millions of Americans live with serious financial challenges. According to government data, tens of millions of people live below the official poverty line, meaning they struggle to cover basic needs such as housing, food, healthcare, and transportation. One reason for this gap is the structure of the modern economy. Highly skilled jobs in technology, finance, and business can generate enormous incomes, while many service jobs, such as retail, food service, or manual labor, often pay much less. Education and location also play an important role. People with higher education or specialized skills usually have access to better paying jobs, while others may face limited opportunities depending on where they live. The result is a society where wealth can be extremely concentrated. A small percentage of Americans hold a large share of the country's total wealth, while many others work hard just to keep up with everyday expenses. This contrast between enormous wealth and everyday struggle is one of the most discussed social and economic issues in the United States. Politicians, economists, and citizens continue to debate how to reduce inequality while maintaining economic growth. The United States remains a land of opportunity for many people, but it is also a place where the differences between the richest and the poorest can be very large. 7. Las Vegas shines brighter than many cities, even from space. Imagine flying high above Earth at night and looking down at the desert. Most of the land is dark and quiet, but suddenly, in the middle of the darkness, you see a bright, glowing spot that looks almost like a small star on the ground. That glowing place is Las Vegas. Las Vegas, located in the Nevada desert, is famous for its casinos, hotels, and entertainment. But what truly makes it stand out is its incredible amount of light. The city is packed with giant screens, neon signs, glowing buildings, and powerful spotlights that shine all night long. The brightest part of the city is the Las Vegas Strip, a long boulevard filled with enormous hotels and casinos. Each building competes to attract visitors with brighter lights, bigger displays, and massive digital billboards. At night, the entire area becomes a glowing river of color. Because of this intense lighting, Las Vegas is extremely visible from space. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station have reported that the city stands out clearly when they look down at Earth during nighttime passes. In satellite photos, the bright cluster of lights in the Nevada desert is easy to spot. In fact, Las Vegas can sometimes appear brighter than many much larger cities because the lights are concentrated in a relatively small area. Millions of bulbs, LED screens, and illuminated attractions work together to create one of the brightest urban areas on the planet. All this light helps create the city's famous nickname, the entertainment capital of the world. The glowing skyline, flashing signs, and endless lights are designed to keep the city alive 24 hours a day. From the ground, Las Vegas feels like a giant playground of lights and color, but from space, it looks like a shining jewel in the middle of the desert, one of the brightest cities on Earth. 8. The world's largest film industry, the story of Hollywood. Imagine a place where stories turn into movies that millions of people watch around the world. That place is Hollywood, the heart of the American film industry and one of the most powerful entertainment centers on Earth. Hollywood is located in Los Angeles, California, and for more than a century it has been the center of global filmmaking. Huge studios, famous actors, directors, and producers work there to create films and television shows seen in nearly every country. Every year, American studios produce hundreds of movies and thousands of TV episodes and streaming series. These productions reach global audiences through cinemas, television networks, and online platforms like streaming services. One reason Hollywood became so successful is its ability to combine storytelling, technology, and massive budgets. Some major films cost hundreds of millions of dollars to produce. These budgets allow filmmakers to create spectacular special effects, detailed sets, and large action scenes that attract audiences worldwide. Hollywood is also home to some of the most famous film studios, such as Universal, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Disney. These companies have created legendary films and characters that became part of global pop culture. Another important part of the industry is the Academy Awards, also known as the Oscars. This annual ceremony celebrates the best films and performances of the year and is watched by millions of people around the world. Because of its global reach, Hollywood films influence fashion, music, language, and even tourism. Many people travel to Los Angeles just to see famous movie locations or the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Today, the film industry continues to grow with the rise of streaming platforms and international audiences. Even though movies are made all over the world, Hollywood remains one of the largest and most influential film industries in history. From epic blockbusters to emotional dramas, Hollywood stories travel across cultures and languages, bringing entertainment to billions of people everywhere. 9. One of the most powerful militaries in the world, the United States. Imagine a country with a military budget so large that it is bigger than the defense spending of many other nations combined. This is the reality of the United States military, which is widely considered one of the most powerful armed forces in the world. Every year, the United States spends hundreds of billions of dollars on defense. This enormous budget supports soldiers, advanced technology, military bases, and research into new equipment and weapons. Because of this spending, the US military has access to some of the most advanced technology ever developed. The American Armed Forces include several branches: the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Space Force, and Coast Guard. Together, they form a global defense system with millions of active and reserve personnel. One of the most impressive parts of the US military is its global presence. The United States operates military bases and installations in many countries around the world. These bases allow the military to respond quickly to international crises, protect allies, and participate in peacekeeping or humanitarian missions. The US Navy is also one of the largest and most advanced in history. It operates powerful aircraft carriers, massive ships that function like floating air bases. These carriers allow military aircraft to operate far from American shores. In addition to size and equipment, the US invests heavily in research and innovation. Military scientists and engineers develop new technologies such as advanced aircraft, satellites, cybersecurity systems, and defense tools that shape modern warfare. Because of its massive budget, global reach, and technological advantage, the United States military plays a major role in international security and global politics. The combination of resources, personnel, and innovation makes the United States one of the most powerful military forces the world has ever seen. 10. A vast country with many climate zones, the United States. Imagine traveling through one country where you can experience icy glaciers, dry deserts, tropical beaches, and snowy mountains, all within the same nation. That country is the United States, one of the most geographically diverse places on Earth. The United States is enormous, stretching across millions of square kilometers and covering a wide range of landscapes. Because of its size, the country includes almost every type of climate found on the planet. In the far north lies Alaska, where winters can be extremely cold and long. Some regions have an Arctic climate with snow, glaciers, and temperatures far below freezing for much of the year. In contrast, thousands of kilometers away in the Pacific Ocean are the Hawaiian Islands, where the climate is tropical, warm, and filled with beaches, rainforests, and volcanoes. Moving across the mainland United States reveals even more variety. In the southwest, states like Arizona and Nevada are home to hot deserts, where summer temperatures can exceed 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit. Meanwhile, in the Rocky Mountains and northern states, winters bring heavy snowfall and freezing temperatures. The eastern part of the country has a humid climate, with warm summers, colorful autumns, and snowy winters in many areas. The southern states often experience hot, humid weather and powerful storms such as hurricanes. Because of these different climates, the United States has an incredible range of ecosystems. You can find polar wildlife in Alaska, tropical plants in Hawaii, giant forests in the Pacific Northwest, and vast grasslands in the Central Plains. This diversity makes the country unique. Within a single nation, people can experience landscapes and weather conditions that feel like completely different parts of the world. The United States is not just large, it is a country where almost every climate and environment on Earth can be found.